r/ForeverAlone. PR1 Vatapilla Style says, what has been your most far moment? Mine's that I'm 28 and have been single all my life. Forzanapatus says, when I had an assignment to do that required I write about my friends. I don't have any, so I had to make up fake people. Anathurguy 783 says, how about, speaking of school, you have a group project but no one will join you, so you end up either with the teacher or get assigned to a group that doesn't want you. Rithmaxed says, in my mid-20s I ran across a girl I had a crush on and had asked out back in high school again. I went and said hello to her and she literally turned and ran away. Fill out running away in the middle of downtown as a full adult. I'm such a terrible worthless human being that me asking out a girl in high school apparently traumatized her so badly that 10 years later as an adult she runs in terror when I walk up and say hello. That is my most far moment. That was when I realized I will never be worth loving and will be forever alone. That my problems run so deep that I can never fix them. Drumurban04 says, my most far moment. At 27 there was a girl that actually flirted and showed interest in me. I also found her attractive and charming. After having had nothing for so long, I was too chicken to do anything about it. Too afraid to ask her on a simple date. Satoshi says, there are times when I'm with friends and or friends of friends and they start telling funny/interesting stories about romance or lust or whatever else is in the same ballpark. And when it gets to me I'm just like, haha, yeah, anyway. Who's next? Literally no stories to tell. Can't even relate to what others are talking about. Groundbreaking Full 24 says, going out with friends and seeing the attention from women they get. Babumaki 101 says, when everyone had someone to work with or talk to while I was left out and all alone. r/ForeverAlone. Kelpkulpa says, for people who are even socially outcasted, do you think it's possible to improve your personality to be respected and have friends? If so, what qualities do you think would make that happen? I've noticed outside of being undesirable for relationships, I'm also undesirable for friendships. I thought I needed to be nicer, funnier, more helpful, more interesting, and upon trying this I'm still talked shit about, and it's discouraging cause at this point it seems like I'm trying so hard to fight against the loneliness nature seems to have destined for me. I also look at all the people with tons of friends and see they aren't the nicest people, in fact they bond over making fun of people. I look at the things they say and they aren't all necessarily funny, they say whatever comes to their mind and people just seem to accept it, even if it's weird or vulgar, but if it was one of us people get upset and annoyed. I noticed they aren't the most interesting and their convos seem to be very surface level, but IDK at this point it seems, even when I copy normal people it's just not accepted on me. And even when I have intentions to genuinely connect like everyone seems to do so easily, there's someone who has something negative to say about me. And I feel like mostly me being ugly has a lot to blame for that. Cause whether I'm talking or not people seem to be pissed off for no reason, which makes me want to isolate even more and doesn't help always feeling alone. Hermit Kadamanki says, if I were to improve my personality to be socially compatible, I would no longer be me. I'd be wearing a mask and projecting an illusion of what people want to see. And in that case, what's the point? And no, I'm not talking about not wanting to fix morally abhorrent parts of myself, which should go without saying, but I've just been on the wrong part of the internet where someone would have misconstrued that. I'm talking about having to be more social, more active, more optimistic, more driven and ambitious. Have hopes, dreams, goals, or even just interests. Basically, I have to put up a facade of attributes that let me have common ground with people, which I don't at all have now. I'm a dud rendered in the distance, not even a fully modeled NPC. Now to be entirely honest, the whole point is somewhat moot, because my hermit self has virtually no social battery and doesn't even know what to do with friends. But that doesn't mean I haven't bumped my head against this problem throughout my life. Simbal Salad says, it's hard to be desirable for anything when you can't even have a normal conversation with anyone. Hopeful_donut4790 says, it's just impossible to me. I'm too neurodivergent, different, and pathetic. You have to find friends and people who care about you and respect you for who you are and not for any mask you wear. Ironically, doing this is a better signal of self-esteem and self-respect than trying to conform to social norms and neurotypicals all the time. Tupac_fan says, learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. Whitney Houston. Maheen921 says, I need a blunt friend who can be like a social coach. Drumurban04 says, don't take it personally. The Gen Z generation are horrible communicators and lack social skills, unless it's a TikTok meme. Not your fault. Throwaway 54734 says, depends on your issues, of course. Something like autism sounds like a much tougher nut to crack than, say, social anxiety disorder, which still ruins my life, mind you, but I've never really been bullied or anything, just inoffensive and invisible. If I really put myself out there and worked on being open with people and tried to keep in touch with them and organized get-togethers, maybe I could make friends, but it's just exhausting. I'm not built for it. Crystal Clear Water says, what I'd suggest is not trying to make friendships focusing on conversation, but focusing on hobbies. If you are doing something in common, gaming groups, rock climbing, LARPing, whatever, you can talk about the task instead of trying to make conversation. Takes the pressure off. You seem like a sweet person. I understand it can be difficult. I really hope you can find your tribe. r/ForeverAlone. 3019 says, I have trouble making eye contact with women that are even slightly attractive. Making eye contact with an even slightly attractive woman feels like staring at the sun. I can't do it for more than a second or two. I also have trouble saying anything to them. I hope there's women out there that are okay with having a partner that doesn't say much. The only times I've been able to make eye contact longer than a few seconds with them is if I have a lot of alcohol in my system. Living_possession_30 says, I struggle with anyone unfair. It took 3 months at my current job to be able to make eye contact with my boss. Eaton9669 says, I'm like this with people in general regardless of attractiveness. I don't know how much is too much or not enough, and the fear of making too much creepy eye contact causes me to just make a quick glance at their eyes and then away for the rest of the interaction. Lethal Awfulness 478 says, I have no problem making eye contact as I don't believe it has any meaning. I'm just looking at another human. Whether I wish she was interested in me or not doesn't matter. Tajarin Sophia says, I don't make eye contact. I never delude myself they may be attracted to me. I only have encounters if I order coffee anyway. I wouldn't risk returning contact, let alone being flirty, as I know she won't be interested, probably will only be seen as a creep and kicked out of the cafe. Anathurguy783 says, this was a problem for me when I worked with the public. When a woman who I found attractive looked me in the eyes, I would get a funny feeling in my eyes and stomach. It was bad, and I had to look away because it would be overwhelming. Alma Lorha says, what is the reason for this? Do you think they are secretly judging you, and you don't want them to look you in the eyes when you think they are judging you? Is it because you somehow think they are all better than you are / too good for you and don't want to look at them because you feel bad about yourself? Women are human too. We fart, we poop, We are insecure, needy, loners, anxious, afraid to be judged, lonely, etc. too. Just because we don't tell you our negatives early on doesn't mean we don't experience them. Just treat women like humans. There are plenty women out there who are happy to be with a man who does not talk that much. 3. If you struggle to say anything, it might help you to make a little list in your phone, or just in your memory with socially accepted conversation starters and some common follow-up questions, to keep a conversation going. You can also talk about yourself as a woman interested in you would want to know more about you. Commonly accepted conversation topics. In a Western culture, the weather, weekend plans, your school/job, hobbies, favorite foods, holiday plans/past holidays, music, movies, topics to avoid when you have just met someone, sex, money, religion, politics. Except if you meet someone at events that cater to such topics specifically. Easy follow-up questions. What do you like about your school/job? What do you want to do after you finish school? What are your career ambitions? How long have you been doing this hobby? What do you like about this hobby? Do you cook yourself? Where/how did you learn to cook? What was your favorite holiday and why? What is your dream holiday destination? Which kinds of music do you like most and why? Have you ever been to a music festival, and if so, did you like it? What kinds of movies do you like best and why? Conversations are usually supposed to be kind of balanced with regards to how much time each person uses and the level of detail/intimacy of the topics that are discussed. If the conversation has been light so far, then bringing up childhood trauma is probably going to make the other person feel uncomfortable. If the other person is doing 80% plus of the talking and your answers are just yes and no or otherwise very short, then the other person will probably feel like it's hard work talking to you and not enjoy it as much. But it's also understandable if you just aren't much of a talker. Some other people talk a lot. Hello, that's me, and they might be happy to do most of the talking. You can still contribute a lot to a conversation with them if you ask good questions, because it shows you are listening, even if you don't talk that much yourself. Just remember that women are human. We want to be seen as humans and treated with respect. We aren't perfect. And most of us, women and men, have to kiss a lot of frogs before. Not so courageous says. I used to have the same problem. But once I reached my late 20s, I'm number 29 now. Suddenly that problem disappeared. I can now make eye contact with any girl and talk to them. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.